What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Gakis, and today, at the time I'm recording this video, the Desert Perpetual Epic Raid has just gone live. And obviously, I'm not doing it. In fact, I'm not just not doing it, I actually got invited by a team and I flat out refused. A few months ago, when the Epic Raid was first announced, I couldn't have even imagined myself not participating, but here I am. And so in this video, I want to talk about the reasons that led to this decision, why I just can't bring myself to do it. And so, let's get started. Now, I want to make something clear right off the bat. I wish the competitors the best of luck, and I hope that this world's first epic raid race going on this weekend, I hope it goes well, hope it goes smoothly, hope everyone has a good time, it's a good viewing experience. I'm not making this video to say that, like, no one should be playing this raid, everyone should boycott. This is very much a personal decision, and I just want to talk about it, frankly. So, keeping that in mind, why am I not doing it? First and foremost, and I think this is the thing that a lot of you guys watching are going to connect with the most, the state of the game. I can barely bring myself to play Destiny 2 at all right now. I am not interested at all in participating in the current leveling system. I cannot bring myself to go and grind Caldera solo ops to make the number go up, right? What I have been doing, admittedly, a little bit more, is that I've been doing some runs of the original Desert Perpetual Raid ever since Bungie finally increased the loot for that raid. Like, you can, with 4 feats, get guaranteed tier 5s. That's been fun. I've been running a few of those. Like, that actually kind of feels like fun content, right? I know that's kind of weird to say, like, hey, wait, you're enjoying the original raid, but you're refusing to go to the epic raid? Oh, I'll get to that. But that's really kind of the only thing I'm doing. I played a little bit of Iron Banner when that came out, to be honest, just to get some tier 5s, and that's kind of the biggest thing. I'm already at a position with my light level still in the 400s, I think it's like 460, something like that. I'm getting tier 5s. Consistently, I'm getting tier 5s. And so, I just don't want to go on this hamster wheel grind of light level, just making the number go up. For what? For, like, what am I getting? I'm already getting tier 5s. I get more tier 5s more frequently, I guess. Like, I can get tier 5s without making the activities significantly more annoying. They're already annoying and burning me out. I have not much desire to play the game at all right now. And so, committing my entire weekend to grinding this, epic raid, it's just not something I felt good about doing. And again, I think a lot of people feeling like that. I think a lot of people are really, really feeling a lack of desire to play the game, a lack of desire to participate in the new leveling system. And I think Bungie might need to pull the emergency lever and, like, go back to the old leveling system. At this point, I don't know what they're going to do, because it's like, it's really fueling a lot of the problems with the game. Okay, so that's one thing. Another thing. I have been toying with the idea of possibly participating. I was not looking for a team because, again, I've just not felt good about the state of the game. But I was thinking, if a team reaches out to me and asks me to join, I might. Well, that happened yesterday. MacDix is a good friend of mine. He reached out to me and he said, hey, it's looking like we might need a sub on our team. Big streamer team. You know what I mean? I think Astrocross is on it, all that stuff. And, when you guys, I don't know if you guys have ever gotten a text from your parents that just, you read it and you instantly get stressed. You, like, look on your phone and it says, call me now or something. And you're like, oh my God. You know what I mean? And then you call and they're like, I'm just checking in. But you know what I'm saying? You get that text from your parents and you're like, and it's like, you read it and they're like, call me now, we need to talk, something like that. And you just get stressed. That's the feeling I went through. I saw this message and I got stressed. Like, just the thought of, like, having to do this all weekend, I was just like, oh my God. And I think that kind of was like the nail in the coffin of, like, I obviously don't want to do this. I'm not going to force myself to do this, right? I'm just going to take it off this weekend. I'm making this video. I might make a couple more videos about other stuff, but after I'm done with this video, I'm probably going to go take my kids to the zoo or something. Like, I'm just going to take a break, right? And that leads into the other thing of, like, why I'm not doing this is, like, leading up to this, like I said, I was kind of keeping it open. And so while I'm keeping things open, like, maybe I'll do it if someone invites me, I'm watching these rules change. I'm watching these things change last minute for the requirements of the raid. Not swap. Why do we have not swap? I'm not even a loadout swapping guy, but the way that not swap is programmed, where if you can change your mods, but if you change a mod that affects your stats, it takes away your heavier special, like all that stuff. Why, dude? What? Like, at this point, just have locked loadouts. Like, this is just so frustrating, and this was not communicated until 2 days before. Also, 2 days before, Bungie says seasonal gear bonuses are active. So obviously, every single person out there is going and getting the best seasonal gear they have, the best seasonal armor they have, to get a damage increase and a damage reduction increase. 2 days before! 2 days before the raid! Bungie's like, actually, we're not doing that. And so people were grinding for perfect tier 5 armor, for the best build they could put together with the new armor, so that they could get that 15% damage reduction bonus. And 2 days before, nope, it's not going to be active, which means that the illegal armor that you grinded before Edge of Fate came out with max weapons, max super, that you can't even roll that combo of like main stat, secondary stat in the game right now, that just became the best armor in the game. Because every single post I've seen about like people saying raid ready, everyone's just literally running the same build, which is a Titan with Thunder Crash, with the Peacekeeper exotic legs, and a god tier SMG with, target lock rewind rounds or something like that. And the Finale's Augur and the Mint Retrograde. Every picture has the same build. Because it turns out when Bungie says you can't loadout swap, you can only do one thing, and every boss in this raid is the biggest health gate, like the biggest health pool imaginable. There's literally like one build everyone is just gravitating to, and that's so boring, man. And that's kind of the problem with having every single encounter being a big boss fight that has a massive health pool, is that you are simply going to have only a few handful of builds that are even equipped to do that. And so all these incredible ad clearing builds, you don't need them. You don't need them because every encounter is the same. It is just a big bullet sponge boss. And so again, everyone's using the same darn build. Now, again, that's just what I've seen. We might see some more builds evolve over the weekend and stuff like that. But I think that gets into my other point. Just the raid itself. Man, if it was a different raid, and we had this kind of epic raid where it went and it changed some things and it added a few more loot pieces and stuff, maybe things would be different. But Desert Perpetual, I don't know, man. Like, the original Desert Perpetual challenge, I hated that. I hated it so much. And 4 bullet sponge bosses in contest mode was just a miserable experience. And the thought of going through that again with not swap now, so it's like you have to do that same miserable experience where one person dies, you don't have enough, damage. Oh, you didn't get enough ammo, you didn't get lucky with the heavy ammo, you don't have enough damage, right? Like all these crazy things, like where it's so tight. And now also there's not swap, right? And it's just like, the thought of doing that makes me cringe inside. I thought that was a horrific, miserable experience, and I simply do not want to do that again, right? Like, I don't want to relive Desert Perpetual contest mode. That's not like a top 5 memories of my life, Desert Perpetual contest mode. That's certainly not an experience I want to relive. And so that also gets into the physical toll. And saying that, I know sitting there playing video games, it's not the biggest physical toll. Some of you guys watching be like, you got soft hands, brother. This guy's got soft hands. If he thinks he's gonna talk about the physical toll of playing video games. No, I get that. But, again, looking back, people were up for 20 hours without sleeping, just trying to get through these bullet sponge bosses. That sucks, man. It's not fun. It's not a fun experience. Like, man, so many people crapped on raids that were easier, but like looking back, it's like right around the 8 hour to complete, like 8 to 10 to 12 hours to complete, those raids had the most community involvement because you could get a team together and you could like overcome a challenge. And you know, you get your team, you're feeling good. The first 6 hours are good. 6 to 8 hours, things are getting a little testy. Dude, like once you're on hour 12, everyone's fighting, people are leaving. Like it's like it just, your team falls apart because like it's just not a fun experience, especially on Desert Perpetual where like you start on Hobgoblin and you just couldn't even get back past one boss. Your team just falls apart. And again, it's just like, dude, I'm an old man now. Like when I was spry, when I was young, when I did Garden of Salvation, I stayed up for the full 24 hours and then made the raid guide. So I was up for like 35 hours, whatever it took, put out the guide, but then I went to sleep. Dude, I got 2 kids now. I ain't doing that anymore. I just physically, I just don't think I can do that anymore. Right. And so that's the thing of this. It's like this absolutely brutal, miserable contest experience. And some people loved it. And if you loved it, that's fine. But for me, miserable contest experience of just 4 bullet sponge bosses where you have to have perfect damage rotations and all this stuff. Now with these rules that are added on top and then taken away 2 days before and all this confusion and BS, plus there's still a ton of glitches in the game. Plus, the stuff you go and farm is now disabled. Like, I'll give a good example. The Hide, this rocket launcher, where it turns out it has the origin trait where it gets ability energy back. Well, if you have cluster bombs, it counts like as a bunch of hits. So with like one cluster bomb, you get almost your entire ability back, or you can. And so people were farming this because it's like, oh, wow, this is such a cool combo. Disabled. So again, it's like, to me, I don't like that. I feel like the raids should just be everyone using the best stuff in the game. And I feel like this disabled list, I get some stuff that's like completely glitched out, and if it's like causing crashes or like just doing ridiculous things, but is getting your ability back from using a rocket launch, is that really disable worthy? Isn't the point to use the best things possible? And so again, like all these things, the rule set, the changing, the disabled list. So you farm for armor with that seasonal bonus. Now you don't need it. Last minute switching. It's not just me not doing it. Last night, Glad, huge streamer, made a big post. He's dropped out. So many teams I've seen on Twitter, people's teams just falling apart last minute because of whatever reason. People just don't want to do it. They're not motivated. The rules changed. People are just fed up. Like, I'm not regrinding. I'm so done. I had my perfect build set up with this rock launcher. It's disabled. And so it's like, I'm not doing this. I think that overall, the idea of going in and doing an epic raid, it wasn't the worst idea. And it wasn't unprecedented. We had the Prestige Leviathan raid way back in the day. But I think with this raid in particular, Desert Perpetual, that was like, it was so hard. And it was so hard to the point that more people beat it by cheating than they did beat it legit. Like, it was so difficult, so few people beat it, that it exposed that there's this entire network of cheaters that will get people through clears. Like, before, you wouldn't notice them because you'd have 12,000 clears or whatever. It would be 8,000 clears, and of that, a few hundred or even like 1,000, whatever, would be cheaters. But now it's like you had more cheaters beating it than people who beat it legit, and so it just completely exposed this whole side of day one raids. You have this raid as like, we're doing another contest experience, and it's not just another contest experience. Like, you have to stream, right? You have to stream. If you are streaming, you have to use our setup to, like, you know, if you are going to cover your screen, you have to use our setup to do this. And if you want to be on the Raid Zone official stream, you have to like fill out a form and stuff. It doesn't feel organic anymore. Back in the day, you know, these day one raids would just naturally be an event. They would just, the raid day ones back in the day was just the day the raid that came out. There was nothing, no contest mode. I'm not saying they should remove contest mode, but this is my point. There's no contest mode. There was no, designated stream to watch. There was no forms to fill out. It was just like, the raid goes live today. And then naturally, the community made it an event. You know, all these people started streaming. People who are tiny streamers that would get ahead would have like 10,000 viewers because it's like, oh my gosh, this person's the first person on this encounter. Like, it was such an exciting experience. And now it just feels manufactured. It feels like by Bungie having these streaming requirements, like they're trying so hard to create this streaming, like, I hope you guys know what I'm saying. Like, these are not in and of itself bad ideas, but for the Epic Raid, it just feels a bit inauthentic to like force another big day one raid stream phenomenon where everyone's watching. It's not a terrible idea, but it just feels a bit forced. And I think that if you're going to do these, I think that it should be for new content. I actually don't mind that they're starting to do it for dungeons, like having a big dungeon, world's first race and stuff. I think that's actually really cool, but that's new content. And that's the biggest thing, man, is like, people just aren't hyped. People don't want to start this, big event. The community, the ground up community excitement for the same raid that's slightly different is just not there compared to like a new raid, a new dungeon. You're in a new area, new bosses, new skyboxes, new air, like brand new areas, new worlds. Like, you see the first time you're doing the last dungeon, Vesper's Host, and you're up on the final boss, and it's like it looks so amazing, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is crazy!" Like, we're on the top of the space station. Like, there's the black hole behind it and stuff. Like such cool stuff. I just don't think the excitement is there for the same raid, slightly different. And so when you try to manufacture this excitement, it comes across as inauthentic. And those are my thoughts. And so it's not just like one thing. It's like the state of the game is really bad. I did not have any fun in the Desert Perpetual contest mode. And so like the thought of redoing that is just not it for me. If I even was going to, possibly do it, Bungie's been changing the rules last minute with 2 days to go. And so people who have been prepping, their prep falls apart and have 2 days to make up for it. And then it's just, again, that rehashed of a same raid. It just doesn't feel good. And maybe if the state of the game was better, this event would have been better received. But, Bungie's been posting about this on their Twitter, and all the comments are just like, oh yeah, we don't care. We don't care, And so those are my thoughts. I think that, for this raid, I just like, I don't know. I don't know if the Epic Raid, I think it's like the raid comes out and I want it as a complete package. Now, in fairness to Bungie, the Desert Perpetual did feel complete, didn't feel like it was missing an encounter or something that they're going to add here in the Epic Raid, or they may or may not and stuff like that. But I don't think like going in and then trying to relive a day one, like forcibly reliving a day one, is the right approach. I think have the day one and move on to new, fresh content. Put the development time into new, fresh content. The raid and dungeon team, put that effort onto the next new dungeon that's coming out rather than trying to expand on the raid that's already released. That's my opinion. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, enjoyed this little bit of I don't know what it's a rant or just a discussion or whatever it is, but I hope you enjoy. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. And if you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at Rick Kakis. That's linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.